Hey boys, it is me 420 Dragon, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the deck lists from the Pauper challenge from this past weekend. As always, if you're new here, if you're not subscribed for whatever reason, just go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. Really appreciate it. It does help out the channel a lot. And let's get right into it, boys. Okay, so we're going to be taking a look at the Saturday challenge here first. Looks like Discover N got first place here with looks like a affinity build. It's got one main deck Krark, one main deck Kenku, 3 Frog, 1 Angler, 2 Rebuki, 3 Reckoners, and how much Thoughtcast? It's actually no, it's 4 Thoughtcast. So 11 total card draws. I like that. I like having a lot of card draws in the affinity deck. And then, yeah, the rest looks pretty standard. The 3 Frogmites is interesting. I think Frogmite is probably pretty decent in the meta right now. I do kind of like that card. I know Walker hates it. Walker is one of the affinity players. He does hang out on my Twitch chat sometimes, and he seems to hate Frogmite. But I don't think I hate it. I feel like it is nice to have more 0-mana threats. As far as the sideboard, you got 3 Red Blast, 4 Blue Blast, 2 Shamans, 1 Turn Aside, 2 Chainers, 2 Spellbomb, 1 Trickery. So it looks like they're not actually having that much stuff to deal with Dust to Dust. They're just trying to kind of beat you down to get around Dust to Dust and draw a bunch of cards and stuff like that. 4 Blood Fountains, also notable. Krark Shaman main deck. This is an interesting list. Hamuda is in second place here, also playing Affinity. 2 Frogmites this time, 2 Kenku, 1 Krark, 3 Fountain only, 4 Reckoners, 4 Dispute, only 2 Thoughtcast, 1 Chainer's main, 2 Rebuki, 1 Fumes main. That's interesting. But I guess otherwise these lists are pretty similar. He's got another Krark in the side here. 3 Red Blast, 4 Blue Blast, 2 Spellbomb, 1 Chainers, 3 Gorilla, 1 Fumies. So Hamuda seems to be liking Fumies in this deck. And then we got Loyal Poyo with the Gates build here. 3 Preordain, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Strands, Counterspell, 2 Crystallization, so he's really not wanting to lose to Guardians. They got the Gift, 3 Journeys only, 4 Modern Age, 4 Guardian is pretty interesting. I don't think a lot of the lists do tend to play 4 Guardian. So that is kind of interesting, and 23 lands too. Yeah, that's kind of an interesting list here. I don't mind that. Let's see, we got Dissonance here. Also on the Gates strategy, they're going with Cursive Chains to deal with Guardian. They're having 4 Journeys, 4 TMA, 2 Guardian only, 1 DBC, 22 lands, 4 Preordain. They're having the Fumes main deck, 3 Spell Pierce, or 3 Brainstorm, 2 Spell Pierce, 4 Strands, 4 Counter. And so it's kind of interesting. It looks like these players both must have lost to Affinity. So that is kind of interesting that, you know, even this 4 Dust to Dust, 2 Gorilla Shaman deck is still getting clapped by Affinity. And then in 5th place here, what do we got? Blue-Red Fairies here. Okay, so 4 Fairies here, 4 Sprite, 2 Fathom Seer. It's interesting that they're going with Fathom Seer. 2 Crimson Fleet, 4 Augs, 4 Moon Circuit, okay, 4 Preordain, 4 Brainstorm, 3 Bolt, 4 Scred, 4 Counter, 2 Lose Focus. Ghostfire, I guess that is to deal with Guardian there. This is kind of an interesting list. I guess I'd be curious to see how this performs moving forward. Congrats to Ezocrado on the 15th, or the 5th place rather. With Blue-Red, we got another Affinity in 6th place here. 3 Kenku this time, 2 Gearseeker, no Frogmites here. 3 Blood Fountains, 2 Anglers, so they're going big on all the big creatures here. They're having 4 Thoughtcasts, 11 card draws again here. 21 lands is interesting. That is quite a bit more lands than we typically see in Affinity. Usually they're only running, what is 19 lands, but Dark Pantsu here decided to go all the way up to 21 lands, which is kind of interesting. 2 Spell Pierce, 4 Blue Blast, 4 Red Blast, 1 Fangs, 2 Shaman, 2 Trickery. That's kind of interesting. Rudberg making top 8 here as well with 4 Implement. So he's gone the sort of new wave, the Implement wave. 4 Swift Spear, Epicure, 1 Bushwhack, 3 Kessig, 17 lands. He's got the, sorceries, 2 Dart, main deck, 1 Fire Blast. I like to move to 1 Fire Blast, 2 Molten Rain, 2 Unholy Heat, 3 Relic. 3 Relic is interesting. 3 End, 2 Smash, and 3 Pyro. I think this is actually a pretty clean red list here. Rudberg seems to have done a decent bit of work on the archetype here. I do like the conclusions that they made in the sideboarding. 2 Molten Rain, 2 Unholy Heat. Relic is, I think, pretty actually nice out of the red deck. A lot of the decks that try to use Relic in the Pauper format are just not really fast enough to be able to capitalize on the disruption that it offers, but with the red deck, that is definitely not the case, and they are very much able to capitalize on the disruption that Relic gives. So I think that is actually one of the better cards in the strategy. 3 End is, I think, really good for the mirror. 2 Smash. I do kind of like just going with only Smash for the Affinity matchup and not having any Gorilla Shamans. Smash is just pretty strong. 3 Pyro. I don't think you need to go too crazy on Pyros with that deck, so I think 3 is a totally reasonable amount. Then we got Kerblinksy with 2 star. This looks like the Food Gates here. So this is an interesting deck, making top 8. What is this? 7 card draws. Golden Egg, Ichor, Wellspring, 2 star, 2 Dawnbringer, 3 cat only, 1 Guardian, 4 GB, 4 Cauldron. They're actually not playing any Blood Fountains, huh? That's interesting. I guess you don't really need it because you can just get back the Cauldron Familiar. But yeah, this is a pretty interesting deck here. Only 20 lands. It's also kind of interesting. I guess everything's pretty cheap in here, so it kind of makes sense. 1 Revoke, 3 Dust, 2 Chainers, 2 Arms, another one of those. 4 Weather in the board too. Okay, so that's sort of their plan for the red deck, is I guess to have Sweepers and then Weathers. Alright, so that is for the Sunday challenge. Then we go over to the, that was for the Saturday challenge. We go over to the Sunday challenge here. We got Rudberg getting first place here. So looks like they actually switched over to the Gorilla Shamans for this day. And then everything else is basically the same, looks like. Yeah, everything else is just the same. They just swapped the Smashes for Gorilla Shamans. And then what do we got? This guy is going with Gates here. 2 Thraben Inspector Gates, 1 Court Hussar. And looks like they're cutting what used to be like the Spell Pierces in a lot of these decks. They used to play Spell Pierces in the Thraben Inspector slot. Spell Piercer, Force Spike. I do kind of like just having another little creature like that. I think that it is definitely pretty good against mono red, where their 1/1s are not really going to be able to attack through your Thrabens. It does just cantrip, so it's like it's good into bigger control-y decks too. And then obviously it offers a body to Basilisk Gate, which is pretty nice. So I think this is a nice little list here. I don't mind this. 2 Arms, 4 Hydro, 4 Pyro, 1 DBC, 4 Dust. Yeah, I think this is like a totally fine list. We got Gal, another red player here. Looks like they have copied what was Rudberg's list from before. I guess they changed the sideboard a little bit to be more beat up on Affinity. And then, yeah, they changed the sideboard. They cut the, what did they cut? Cut the Unholy Heats, I guess. They cut the Unholy Heats to just have more Affinity hate. And then we got Dark Pantsu making top 8 again. So we got Dark Pantsu and Rudberg both going double top 8s this weekend. That is pretty crazy. With 2 Frogmite, 4 Enforcer, 2 Gear Seeker. So actually no Gurmag. That's interesting. 3 Kenku, 2 Makeshift, 3 Blood Fountain. What is this? 11 card draws, 21 lands version again. So 21 lands version doing kind of well here. 1 Fangs, 2 Pierce, 2 Trickery, 4 red, 4 blue, and 2 Gorilla Shaman. We got Sand Pop making the top 8 with Gates here. What is this? 4 Strands, 2 Pierce. So this looks like the pretty stock version here. There have 4 Dust, 4 Blue Blast, 4 Red Blast, 2 Relic, 1 Arms. Yeah, this is pretty stock and standard version of the Blue-White Gates deck there. We got Billster on the 4 Frogmite, 4 Enforcer, 3 Kenku, 1 Angler. 4 Frogmite version. That's pretty interesting. And 2 Rebuke, 4 Deadly, 2 Reckoners. So he's only on 10 card draws, 19 lands. Fumes, 1 Arms, 3 Hydro, 2 Gorilla, 4 Pyro, 3 Chainers, 1 Krark. Okay. This is pretty interesting. This is a little bit more of like an aggressive variant, I guess, with the 3 Kenkus and 4 Frogmites here. Looking to put the damage on. And only, 10 card draw spells here. So that is kind of interesting. He's deciding to skip on the card draw. We got this. This looks like basically the same list we just saw earlier. Yeah, I think it's legit the same exact list that Sandpop used here. It's a very stock standard version of Gates here. So not really anything remarkable there. And then we got, looks like Blue Black Terror. So it looks like Blue Black Terror only put 1 in the top 8 of both of these challenges here. That's pretty interesting. I guess it's kind of falling off here. They got 1 Fangs main deck, 2 Pierce, 4 Note, 4 Snub, 4 Consider. So this guy's on this full 16 cantrips, 2 Augs main deck, 17 lands, 3 DAs only, 2 Chainers main. And they got a whole bunch of 1-ofs. A Spell Pierce, Dispel, Agony Warp, Shrivel, Chainers, Fangs, Fumies, Spell Bombs, and Hydro. Alright, so that is pretty interesting. And yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Click the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitch and shit, bro. You can catch my streams. We be playing some epic gaming, epic Pauper gaming. So yeah, thanks for watching.